When I grow up, I want to be a fashion designer.
A train driver or a video game designer.
A veterinarian.
You know, people feel pretty miserable about the economy, and there's a good reason for that. The unemployment rate is 9.6%.
And this job gap has significant long-run economic costs, not just social costs, because research suggests that about 1/5 of involuntary long-run unemployment becomes chronic, which permanently lowers the productive capacity of our economy.
Even though the recession technically ended a year ago and we've been growing since then, things don't feel better yet.
College seniors who graduated in 2009 carried on average of $24,000 in student loan debt, up 6% from 2008. Unemployment for recent college graduates climbed from 5.8% in 2008 to 8.7% in 2009. Ben Miller, what are recent college graduates facing when they come out with that much debt and unemployment that high?
Well, I think that they're facing kind of the same issues that all workers are facing. Basically, it's very tough to find a job, especially if you're a recent college graduate, because you don't have a lot of work experience. Someone's really going to have to take a risk on you and show that you're going to be able to compete in the workforce. That said, I mean, I think that college graduates do find themselves in a better position than someone who doesn't have any college experience. Their unemployment rate is much higher, but at the same time, it's lower than the average workforce.
Well, for years here at Hull High School, I've been saying it's not where you get into school, it's where you can afford to go, and I think that that holds more true today than ever. I hate to see students getting themselves excessively in debt, and I think that students really need to consider the career that they're going into compared to the amount that they're going to spend for college for that career. Students need to do. You really need to consider what your career is going to pay, how much debt really can you sustain and pay it back. I don't know any figures, facts and figures, but I do know that now the government's getting concerned about students' ability to pay back student loans, etc. So I mean, this is becoming an issue, not only for the students themselves, but for the colleges and for the economy in general. I think it's a huge issue today.
Now, more than ever, because you come out of school and a lot of people just can't find jobs, or they can't land a job. So instead of paying for their loans, they'll go back to school because students don't have to pay back their loans and just accrue more debt. I mean, that's just the way the world works.
The final thing that we've tried to do to lay this foundation for long-term economic growth is to put our investments in those things that are really going to make us more competitive over the long term. So we have made the largest investment in research and development, in basic research and science, in our history, because that's going to determine whether we can compete with China and India and Germany over the long term. Are we inventing stuff here?
I think the rising cost of college is a sign. It's not a good sign for society. It's showing that the best way to be successful in America or in the world right now is to have an education. And if they raise the cost of education, it's harder to have a comfortable life in America or really anywhere in the world now. And to me, it's a sign of that, like, the middle class is shrinking. And I think that the people are so adamant about going to college that the reason is because they want to stay middle class or try to rise to the upper class. And the rising price is it's not showing a good path for the people of our country as far as like their class. I don't think it's positive for America.
Dear Mr. President, you have been in office since January of 2008 and have been re-elected to lead for 4 more years. Throughout your time, you have spoken of change and reform, but the numbers have never seemed to be in your favor. At the start of your presidency, the unemployment rate remained at about 5%. This accounted for more than 41 million jobs in the United States. College students graduated in 2009 with an average of $24,000 in debt, which rose 6% from the previous year. Although these figures may seem like steep percentages, let us now look at the numbers of today. The unemployment rate has risen to almost 8%. The average debt has risen to about $26,000 in student loans alone. According to the Chronicle of Higher Education, 2.1 million students graduate per year and enter the workforce. The other 53% of these graduates are either jobless or underemployed. With the growing competition and the need for higher education, it is becoming harder than ever to pay for an education and not accumulate a large sum of debt at the same time. With these next 4 years, we ask that you bring us true change. These trends in decreased job openings and increased debt will continue to climb unless there is sufficient effort and time put into this problem. Jobs must be created for students at all levels of education. Living in the land of opportunity, it is truly a shame to see so many people challenging themselves to end up jobless. Jobs must be of high priority in these next 4 upcoming years.